Well, hello. So I figure I'd do a little devlog here to kind of show off the progress I've been making this week, and I guess for past little bit here on my little game or game engine that I'm sort of creating here. Um, so let's just kind of hop in here and see if I can get this done in like a tight 5 minutes or so. That's going to be my goal. Um, Number one, trees. That was kind of the fun I had kind of earlier this week, or maybe it was last week. Kind of making these little trees, going from vector graphics to raster graphics or pixels, right? And I think that came out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how those kind of look inside the game. There's a lot of uh, artistic stuff in here. I have light coming from the top left, and that leaves a shadow and kind of shades the trees and stuff like that. And yeah, I think it kind of works. I'm kind of pleased with the tree. So yeah, so that's the tree. Next up, I decided to go ahead and tackle walls, which I thought would be relatively easy. Turns out that they were not relatively easy. Walls made me understand 2.5 dimensions. So before I was really just thinking of stuff in 2 dimensions, but the walls in particular, like the collisions, um, and so forth. Note that I'm hitting W, but I can't go further on this wall. Um, is kind of an interesting problem to be solved in 2.5 dimensions versus 2 dimensions or 3 dimensions. Actually, I think it's in some ways it's harder in 2.5 than it is in three. Because in three, at least you're dealing with kind of a more of a known quantity, whereas in 2.5 dimensions, it's more of an artistic uh, uh, perspective. It's a cheat, and so you have to kind of figure out what the rules of that cheat are that you're dealing with. And so the short story of that is you can't make your collider boxes the exact dimensions of the sprite. You need to make your collider boxes shorter in the Y dimension here. So note these little gray boxes here. That's the physics engine's representation of the entity. The collider box, if you want to call it that. And note how when I bring my little dude up here to the wall, it's trying to go through the wall, but it can't. Um, but it looks pretty good, right? And you can go behind the wall. Whoops. Well, let me turn off debug view. Kind of slows everything down. Um, so if you can go behind the wall. Oh, I've got it where the X-ray kind of view kind of comes in, where you still see the character when it goes behind the wall. I kind of like that. So that was fun, kind of figuring that out and figuring out the yeah, kind of how the math of that worked and so forth, and the kind of the competing interests of the rendering, the visual rendering of the sprite, for instance, versus the how the physics wants to view the sprite or the entity, and kind of rectifying those two very different worldviews. So, for instance, what is the position of a sprite, right? From the renderer's perspective, it's here. Let me turn back on debug queue. It's this top left corner, right? So that's really how a lot of 2D sort of rendering wants to work. But from the physics engine's point of view, it's this little circle here, right? That's the center of mass of the object. I'm actually cheating a little bit. I'm kind of using the top left of the what's called the physics body, because it kind of gives me a more precise view of it. But anyway, that's details. Um, but the idea here is that there's lots of ways. Every system wants to view the entity from a slightly different angle, and having a means of dealing with those kind of competing interests is that's the interesting challenge, really, right? It's not solving the one problem; it's solving the one problem in the context of all the other problems. And that's what makes it fun, I think. I've kind of got a nice little world I'm kind of creating here. That you can't go through the tree; you have to go around the tree. I kind of like that. I'm not sure I've got to keep that. It's a little bit annoying, actually. Uh, Anyway, that's what I've been up to this week, and maybe next week I'll have another devlog, or next month, or next little bit here. But anyway, I'm having a lot of fun. I think it's progress is continuing, and I just take it one day at a time and see where the game takes me in some sense. Anyway, catch you guys later. Bye.